I won't wear the bangle to the gym, and I'm going to from now on. And I came back and I forgot to put my bangle on all day. And then I had this situation that developed that was particularly tough to hear. It was somebody that's close to me is not doing that well health-wise. So I was really feeling a lot of pain that day, emotional pain. And about 5:30, I went into my bedroom and just happened to look on my dresser and realized that my bangle was sitting there, and I had forgotten to put the bangle on all day. So I'd been without it on that one particular day when I really needed it. And I was just I instinctively just sort of, my eyes got big and I instinctively grabbed it and put it on, just like, oh my God, of all days I need my bangle, and what's it doing sitting on the dresser? And, what could I say? I put it on and I know I almost feel silly saying it because it seems so absurd, but it's true. That I just had a sense of I could deal with this. This is all right. Whatever is going to happen, whatever happens, is going to be manageable, and it's not going to completely take me down, and I'm not going to lose it. And it comes back to that being able to cope, being able to continue even in the face of looking at something that isn't going to be, particularly easy to go through at all. I'm looking at losing, somebody close to me. It's a manageable thing because of the fact that I think it just brings me back to center instead of allowing my emotions or my mind to run amok and take off on me. And that's kind of where the direction I was going that day. So it was really helpful to find the bangle. It's not coming off. I'm going to wear it to the gym from now on. I'm not going to have another one of those days.
I think what you're saying is that something I've heard many times over the last 25 years, especially with the meditation bangle as well, which is how people are surprised because there's the traditional Ayurvedic astrological 9-gem bangle, and then there's this new very large stone deeply coloured quartz bangle that people wear. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting similar responses between the two in certain areas. And what you're saying is you had this devastating news of someone close, potentially even soon for the astral, as you say. Mm-hmm. And naturally, like all of us, you were extremely upset. Mm-hmm. But then when you put on the bangle, it became manageable, it became tolerable, it became life goes on.
Yeah.
And the love was still there, that wasn't diminished in any form.
No, it never will be.
But the sense of loss,
mm-hmm.
in its amplified manner, which is what our mind and heart can do, mm-hmm. was lessened greatly.
Absolutely. That's exactly what happened. Was just it was the difference of feeling like I could cope and function, and just pick myself up and put one foot in front of the other versus not being able to, basically. So that was pretty big.
When you look at our horoscope, when you look at our nature, and you analyse different people, we have different vulnerabilities in our emotional body. Some people are very attached to a certain type of situation that will attack their emotions, and others are pretty neutral to that, but they've got a vulnerability somewhere else. That's why we all have different buttons, as it were. And theory behind chromatic therapy, or chromotherapy, is that all those different characteristics in our personality emanate and represent, on the electromagnetic level, a specific colour or a variation of the colour. And hence our auras are all different because we manifest different ways of being, and our electrical field is subtly different. And we have our strengths and our weaknesses. And when we are dramatically compromised by something that's really against our desire matrix, and it really hurts us, and it really gets our goat, we amplify it out of proportion. It's a form of delusion, but we're all subject to it. And if we can supplement that weakness we have in our electrical field chromatically through a medium that has a electromagnetic radiation, such as the crystal alignment or molecular structure through a faceted, smooth gemstone touching the skin, then we aren't as vulnerable. We aren't as prey to the weaknesses in our nature. And what you're saying is a classic example of that, where somehow this seemingly inanimate object that we just regard as a nice, attractive, glassy piece of jewelry becomes an instrument of delivery affecting our emotional nature. And it's very hard to comprehend until you have that experience.
It has to be an experience for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at an object is not the same as having the experience of it actually.
Right.
Really bringing, what it feels like to me is that it brings me back to center. You know, it brings me back to the present versus all of the what ifs, or what is it going to look like. You know, it's just phenomenal. I don't know. You have to experience it. It's very, very hard to explain.
Well, you know, another interesting observation of you, Tamara, that I've had is you've been wearing this for a year, and you just got this very black and white experience showing the fundamental benefit of the bangle, but you've been wearing it for a year. And you're a very strong personality. When you first got the bangle, you weren't sure about its efficiency in improving your quality of life. And it took about a month, and then you returned it, and then you realized by contrast that there was a shift downwards and you didn't like it.
And that was very much the contrast that you're talking about was actually my experience that I just had. It was the same idea of not having the bangle on and not realizing you know, how far down the rabbit hole I was going versus finding the bangle and slipping it on and then having the effect of being able to take a deep breath, and all of a sudden everything just, it was like the intensity level was taken down to a manageable level versus me feeling like I was going to be overwhelmed and all consumed by this emotion that I didn't have any control over, that I thought I didn't have, but you know, it wasn't like I took control. This is something that just completely happens naturally. It just like, it's almost like it's a neutralizer. That's a good word for it. It neutralizes the vulnerability, just the energy of the monkey mind that wants to take off. It neutralizes it. And so that's when you can get back to center and realize that I can deal with this, and it's not going to completely destroy me.
I think, you know, when you study the advice of all the great saints, they all stress detachment. They all stress the ability to step back and look at the show like it's a movie, and not buy into it too much, not become a part of it so you're subject to its ebb and flow so much. And we tend to ignore that until something really unpleasant happens and we're suffering very deeply, and then we go, how do I get out of this? And then we go, well, if I was more detached, maybe I wouldn't, you know, have so much pain. And so from a spiritual point of view, I think because the bangle seems to elevate the vibratory rate of the individual, there's that detachment that is naturally part and parcel of introducing it to your electrical field. And a lot of people don't understand how a tool of varied electromagnetic frequencies can shift their consciousness, can shift their thoughts, can shift their attraction to different types of activity, and magnetically pull them to higher forms of activity, etc. But it's the same at the thought process. It's the same at well, that's silly, I'm not going to think that.
Mhm.
Whereas this is the way I think now,
Mhm.
before and after wearing a bangle.
Mhm.
But it's so subtle
Mhm.
that
Completely
often
subtle.
I tell everyone, take the
Mhm.
bangle off after you've been wearing it for
Yeah.
a week or two. Take it off for a few days, put it back on, take it off.
Yeah.
Because when you're wearing it so integrated, you just feel like, well, this
Exactly.
is me. It's got
That's
nothing
what
to
I
do
said.
with
It's
this.
the new normal.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the new normal, and you don't realize that you're cruising along, and life is good, and you're able to deal effectively with whatever comes your way. But take it off, and that's when you'll really see the difference in the benefit. For sure.
Yeah. Well, you essentially go back to your original horoscope when that goes.
Oh.
And you essentially go back to the karma that's meant to come to you that you've already developed.
This is never coming off then.
You've had incarnations and decades in this life developing these patterns, developing these attractions, these nuances of personality that are very ingrained, and you become this very sort of like a psychological antique, this vortex of tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
And when you introduce a series of influential higher resonances or vibrations into your electrical field, there's a dramatic shift, and all your magnetic tendencies shift as well with that. And that's why people are often relating, well, now I'm sort of more interested in healthy diet, and I'm very against that habit I used to have, and I'm prepared to take it on head on now. Things like that, step by step.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an incremental process. Obviously, when people wear the bangle for the first time, I'm getting quite a number going through this too dramatic a shift.
Mm-hmm.
But it's only can last for a few days or hours. But that's because their body's suddenly been sort of given electromagnetic radiation spectrum shock therapy somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of stultifying influences the bangle's trying to shift.
So I tend to be sort of, very cautious at first, and I go a little bit slower. But once I have the experience and own it, then I know that it's my truth. I know that it's real for me, and so that's where where I'm coming from. It really is like a security blanket. It's like a force. It's almost like a force field that. Well, now it's making more sense to me actually, in even talking to you about this, because I've also noticed that since I've worn it consistently for the past year, in terms of just naturally things that I may have been attracted to in the past, like I wasn't a vegetarian, and I'm still not a vegetarian, but I've completely given up beef. That just fell away. I just don't have a desire for it. I look at it, no, I just don't really. I mean, just things in my diet maybe that probably consisted of a lower vibration, where it's just not appealing to me anymore. It's like, I'm going to say it's like dead flesh. There's no vibration. There's a negative vibration.
The human being is a creature of habit. If you start drinking Coca-Cola, you develop the taste, the desire, matrix for it. You keep drinking Coca-Cola. Mm-hmm. You can drink any other toxic chemical mix and get addicted to it. That's the way we are. Mm-hmm. But when you shift your vibration from having too much Coca-Cola in your system, or nicotine or whatever, the attraction lessens. And when you wear a bangle, which has got a different frequency, it immediately goes in and tries to shift your diet. Mm-hmm. It immediately goes in and tries to shift your thoughts. Mm-hmm. It immediately goes in and tries to shift your habits. Now, some people are far more ingrained than others, or stubborn, or takes the shift. But I've noticed extremely die-hard meat eaters go, well, I cut back dramatically and slowly but more than that, perceive the logic of the vegetarian diet, perceive respect for it. Because before it was completely disdainful, completely like, that's rabbit food. Mm-hmm. And that's just an example of other aspects of lifestyle that get shifted. And that's just one example. Important one, of course. But,
well, the way I was looking at it was from a vibration. The vibration of a higher frequency food versus, and just the natural appeal versus, it's not that I'm looking at it and saying I can't eat it. I'm looking at it and saying I don't want to eat it.
Yeah, sure.
There's a difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah, so that I think it's just more of the same of all of these various aspects of my life that it's affected that probably I'm not even aware of on a lot of levels.
Yeah, right.
Just that on a day-to-day basis, like I said, it's my new norm.
Yeah, sure.
And I think it shows. I mean, I've lost, quite a bit of weight, and I think that, just my outlook and my view and the things that I attract into my life, I mean, and hey, if it's going to mitigate karma,
You're a lot happier in
coming
yourself
off.
now. Yeah. And that's it. That's it. I mean, mitigation of karma and being happier in yourself go hand in hand. And I've known you for a few years, but I would say you seem far more happier because you're far more in command of your future and your present day situations than you were a year ago. Would I be correct in making that assumption? And,
Absolutely.
we're all
Yeah.
striving for that. I think. We're all striving.
And that's what we're doing, we're all in this together, and whatever, modalities help, if you come across them in life. I mean, I was fortunate enough to come across this. Who would have, it was just a really amazing, blessing.
The 31-day money-back guarantee.
There you go, 31-day money-back guarantee, try it and take it off.
No, but I have to do that because to respect the integrity, to not create negative karma. Some people won't feel the subtleties of the meditation method, and some people do. And enough do for me to continue it as a standard business model with employees and all the huge expenses involved in making these instruments. But it's critical that some people simply don't have the karma to be drawn to this type of instrument. And it's essential for me that I respect that. It's essential, even though I believe in it, think it'll do me good, that's not the point. Everyone has their own evolutionary interests in different areas of the world, and this has got to fit that jigsaw. So that's why. Okay, well thanks so much, Tamara.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
We only want to sell to those who have a genuine life-improving experience. This is why we offer a 31-day money-back guarantee. If you feel the Bangle does not improve the quality of your life, we will give you a full refund on the cost of the Bangle. For more videos and information, please feel very welcome to visit www.meditationbangles.com.